Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And here we are right back. Yeah, right back because it just never ends. The stress, the tension, you would think that the world would one day arrive at a conclusion that, you know what, let's just leave everybody the heck alone, live and let live. Let's just all do our own jobs, our businesses, get on with our businesses, mind our own businesses, and let's just make life easy, not just for ourselves, but everybody else. But no, no, no. It seems what the world has arrived at, the conclusion that the world has arrived at is let's make things worse because they just can't get any more worse, right? But no, we're going to show them that it can get worse. Yeah. This is the sadistic, imperialistic, narcissistic mentality that people have. Okay. And these are the kind of people, these are the kind of sick people that seem to always manage to attain control over the whole world in various capacities to make everybody's life hell. Yeah. Because listen, the reason I've always I've detested living here in this country, in my own country, that I always very aggressively defend when I've lived abroad. The reason I just detest this place, not just the toxic mentality of the people here, which always gets transferred in the form of the government, which means that toxic mentality that you're dealing with in your everyday lives, it gets amplified thanks to the government and the army that you're stuck with, because they have to, carry on with that toxicity. They have to celebrate it, after all. We haven't got a research on our name in Harvard for nothing. So we have to continue proving that, yes, we are number one and the most toxic people in the world. And here we are. So, as if the stress of having light problems wasn't enough, they decided to add water problems, and then they decided to add gas problems, and then they decided to fuck with the electricity. Okay. They decided, oh, you know what, all those people who have solar, since we cannot control them so much, even though they are already controlling us by literally ripping us off, literally getting our electricity to the grid for free, and then selling back electricity to us for triple the amount. And now they're suddenly creating this rumor, by the way, saying that, oh, we're decreasing the electricity. You're not decreasing jack shit. We all know exactly what you're doing. Okay. And then they've decided to announce water shortage, which is again something I've been predicting for a very long time, especially the minute Wasa announced that they want to reform the law and the constitution and make a bill in which they're going to say that the government owns all the water in the country, which is very, very un-Islamic to be just to even begin with. Anything that is a God-given resource cannot be owned or manipulated by anybody. But of course, who are they learning this from? After all, just literally a year after their efforts, you have Laurent, the French moron, who's right now the CEO of Nestle, the parent company Nestle. I'm not talking about the Pakistani branch. I'm talking about the actual Nestle CEO, Laurent, suddenly it comes out and says, you know what? Water shouldn't be a human right. Yeah, you know what? Your shit shouldn't be your human right. You shouldn't be allowed to shit. You shouldn't be allowed to defecate wherever you go. You shouldn't be allowed to even pee. You should drink your own pee and eat your own shit. Why not we make that rules for people like you? Remember, we've always been saying that they are looking for ways that if they could even control the sun and the air, then they can charge you for breathing. And they are going there. And again, whose fault is it? All of us. All of us. We are all to blame. Okay. What the frack are we doing? What have we been doing? We have known this for decades, for centuries even, that there are people who are psychotic, and those psychotic a-holes are the ones who have accumulated money and wealth and assets through corrupt means so that they can continue to control the world's resources and in turn control the world because they have a God complex, because after all, they are psycho cases. And what do? We let them be. The question is, have they let us be? We have been caused severe damage. Obviously, I blame our parents' generation the most, as always, you know that. Because they were the ones, that is the generation that had the largest amount of corruption on a global level, the largest amount of loss that has been perpetrated for the next two generations. In fact, I'm now beginning to think it's not just the next two generations, it's the next three generations. And I'm including our generation because our generation was always the first in line to be screwed. Okay, we grew up seeing everything literally taken away from us, things that people claim that they fought so hard for, you know. If you fought so hard for our divine rights and our human rights to be maintained, then why is it slipping away like that? Why did you just chuck it all away? You know, well, that's right. Because you people just decided to, live life like hippies. I don't even know why I even compare you to hippies. I think hippies were 1,000 times better than you guys, seriously. All you guys did was just make connections, use those connections to abuse the laws and then to abuse the social norms and then to abuse. I mean, all that's all you ever did. You just used and abused and used and abused. And that has always been your life story for this generation. And they're so proud of it. They're just so proud of their generation, which to me, on the record, is the worst generation ever to have existed on earth where our civilization is concerned, where our part of the civilization is concerned. They are the ones that have led us to downfall, to doom, to loss, to harm, to environmental disasters, and you're just thinking, what the hell? What the hell else are they going to do? Yes, within this generation are also those that built and created things. Yes. But again, now what is happening? What is happening? That same generation is now controlling consumerism. And they've taught their young, not so young really. I mean, yeah, it's still their generation. People in their 50s, people in their 60s, they're the ones actually who are still controlling consumerism. They're the ones who are controlling money. They're the ones who are now designing things not to last. They're the ones creating environmental hazards all over the place. They're the ones that have put poison in our natural water that used to be safe for drinking. What is it that they have not done to date to harm us? you know and as I said, as if that wasn't enough, the reason I just detested living in this country was because everybody's out to just give you unnecessary tensions. A country in which you have to be constantly stressed out about your basic necessities, like energy and power and your utilities, and that country cannot progress. But I'm seeing that, as I said, before at least we had a way out. We were like, oh, just screw it and let's just go to a different country that at least has some system left, or some good system going on, even though it's borrowed originally from the Islamic system, which is always the ideal system. But there is somebody following that system, let's just go there. But no, okay, they have decided to now chuck that system out and they're also now regressing. It's amazing how right now Pakistan is literally at par with the rest of the world. Europe is a disaster. America is a freaking well, America was always a disaster, but they somehow tried to maintain a facade, but that is all gone now. Canada is a disaster. And I'm about to sneeze right now. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Well, anyway, point being, the whole world is a freaking disaster now. Now there's just no way out. Now any other country is just like is beginning to be more or less just like Pakistan, and Pakistan is obviously Pakistan. In India and Bangladesh, I mean, Bangladesh is at least trying, but Pakistan and India they're not. You would think that. Listen, again, I would say bringing in rallies, protests day in and day out is not going to do squat. Okay, you need to fight. You need to fight a bloody fight to push these people out, because they are here with an agenda. They are not going to leave until they have fulfilled that mission. And it just starts with the destruction of your country. You know, our army has been illegally tampering with the bandwidth of our net, of our internet, because, oh, why allow people to go on social media and, find out the correct information of what exactly is going on, or to share information of what exactly is going on? The fact that YouTube and Facebook worked with our government, with our army, that in itself just shows the status of YouTube and Facebook. What kind of a social media platform are you? Literally, like, well, one has never trusted Facebook. Facebook has always been selling our private information to the American government, and then started selling it out all to all the other governments wherever Facebook has landed its platform, right? And then, as if that wasn't enough, YouTube decided, oh, let's just get into the mix. And because Twitter refused to, so they've had a long tussle, but trusted Twitter or X to get something out of it, so that they should be again. But see, again, if you're all going to compromise, then you're going to lose big time, because consumers or clients or customers, they will not tolerate. You think that, oh, they're still going to continue with Facebook, or they're still going to use it, but okay, let me tell you, how many Facebook users do you have left now, after the whole caboodle? How many? You think that what you have is still good enough? Is that why you decided to buy WhatsApp? Under the precondition that you have to maintain the encryption, which was the whole point of WhatsApp. The reason why people loved and trusted WhatsApp is because the original owners, they had always kept that standard where you have end-to-end encryption of all messages, calls. Nothing can be recorded, nothing can be easily tampered with. But because Facebook owns it now, and even though Facebook keeps on assuring us that end-to-end encryption is still on, but people have lost trust in WhatsApp, simply because you've got the Pakistani army strutting around, showing literal recordings of calls made on WhatsApp, which is supposed to be impossible. I would know, because I literally teach on WhatsApp. My spoken English sessions that are telephonic sessions, I use WhatsApp most frequently, because my students prefer to use WhatsApp most frequently. And my students have literally tried that they can record these sessions so that they can listen to them, go through them, like revise, practice, but they couldn't. Even though there were many third-party applications that claimed that they were able to do that, they couldn't. You know. And so, how is the government or the army managing to convince people that it can actually record the information, and then can actually hack people's mobile phones and show screenshots of their messages, or archive their messages, or go through their messages? How is it possible? And why is WhatsApp's founder, which is, who else but Zuckerberg, how is it that he has not once come forward to say that's impossible, that's stupid, that's nonsense, that's impossible, it cannot be done? If anybody claims to do it, they are creating a deep fake content, they're using AI, whatever. How come he never came and openly refuted it? So it means he wants people to think that, oh yeah, this is also, it can be easily compromised. you know I would think it would be a matter of his honor and his dignity and his reputation that he would come and loudly dismiss this. But no, because he's literally working with the army where Facebook is concerned, where metaverse is concerned. So yeah, he cannot talk. He cannot talk and specifically say that, oh, yeah, in all the other platforms, I am literally cooperating with your illegal government, but WhatsApp is where we draw the line. It's an end-to-end encryption, it will remain so. He thinks that it's enough that, we see it on our screens, that all our messages are end-to-end encrypted and our calls cannot be recorded. Yeah. Okay. And so, yeah, because I'm talking about the internet, the reason why I've picked up the mic today is because the internet's off. We've been offline since 1:30 p.m. yesterday. Just like that, all of us, the whole block, All of us at the exact same time, we all went offline. And now the problem here that I have is that Stormfiber, which is Cybernet, by the way, Stormfiber to Pakistan's Cybernet to the Western world. Now, they literally have been very professional throughout, in my experience with them. They've always been very quick to, to detect, because in their system it gets detected. You literally get a recording of it when you call the helpline. There's a recording that starts saying that, oh, our system has detected that you have a disconnectivity issue. And usually it gets followed by, the assurance that the team is on it, and that till in an approximate amount of time it will be resolved. And then they issue a sort of an online statement also and everything, but they send us SMS as well, saying that, oh, due to so and so reason, you are experiencing such and such thing, a brownout or a blackout, or you're offline or disconnectivity or whatever, and that we're working on it. But no, recently, especially this past year, again, basically since this useless cursed government has come, without any invitation or permission or vote or anything, they just landed upon us because America decided, no, you need to you have to rule Pakistan, you have to, because we are ruling Pakistan through you, so only our people need to be there. Anybody that goes in favor of Pakistan's national interests is automatically an enemy to us. So Imran Khan has to be ousted, and even though he won the elections again, and this time even more overwhelming than the last, but no, you have to sit. You have to sit in the government and work for us. Okay. So what the Indian government has always been doing, what the American government has literally been doing, despite the fact that the Americans are not even aware of it. The Americans only recently became aware of it when the American government wanted to try to buy out shares, or should we say, business friends of the American government wanted to buy out shares of TikTok. So they decided to, ban TikTok and create all this hullabaloo about, Chinese information, when the guy is actually from Singapore, seriously, you know. And I mean, literally, America's politicians, I'm sorry to say, but they literally mirror Pakistani politicians in crap. Yeah, the amount of crap that they produce, in their so-called questioning sessions and all, the amount of stupid, ignorant questions that they ask, the way they make fools out of themselves, and they really don't care because they are again working on an agenda. So you see that you can see that mirrored right here amongst our own jahil, ignorant, useless pieces of crap sitting here in the government, and they brought the biggest load of crap that they could find in the ends of the sewerage right beneath the toilet, and they put him up as the COAS, as the chief of army staff. Yeah, who seems to misquote Islamic ayats. The man has never read the Quran in his life. Whoever is trying to sell me the idea that he is a Hafiz of Quran, even his own neighbors and fellow students have refuted that claim that this is rubbish. The guy doesn't know jack shit. And I can see that. A guy who doesn't even know the basics. The basics. And that quote that he was reading, he was literally reading it out. He was reading out that quote. If you're a Hafiz of Quran, you shouldn't have to read out anything. You should just say it. Just recite it. Why are you looking at the paper and reading from the paper while quoting the Quran? Seriously, you piece of crap. If there is any example of what God and what the Prophet has always talked about when they talk about munafiqs, hypocrites, and munshriks. Munshriks are those who are disbelievers in the guise of Muslims. Munafiqs are hypocrites, and munshriks are even more a step ahead. They're literally those who just do not believe, but they claim that they do, and they will do anything and everything contrary to religion. And they will use religion whenever and wherever it suits them to exploit others. And that's exactly what they've been doing. The point being, again, that in doing so, they have literally just exposed the fact that they don't know squat about anything. Forget religion, but they don't know squat about anything. The most useless pieces of crap have banded together. And the fact that our people are still silently looking at their faces. Yes, we are silent because, again, I'll say rallies and protests. No, sorry. We should have literally gunned them down. We should have shot them. We should have hanged them. We should have quartered them. We should have literally killed them off the minute they decided to go against us. If we had done that, we would be in a better place today. But here we are, looking for a Messiah. We had a Messiah. He's in jail. Do you think another person is going to be such an idiot that he's going to come and fight for you? No, nobody's going to fight. You don't deserve to be fought for because you're literally not fighting. Okay? Again, I'll say rallies and protests, not fighting. No, 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 no. Wastage of time, wastage of energy, wastage of effort. If rallies and protests could do anything, Kashmir would be free today, and so would Palestine. Palestine is literally fighting. It's literally fighting back, and it still hasn't gained its freedom. It still hasn't removed the illegal occupiers from its land. Kashmir is being put through the exact same thing that Palestine is being put through. You think Kashmir isn't fighting? I told you, you literally need to cut off their heads. You need to gun them down. You need to kill them brutally and set them as an example for future generations. You do this to us, this is what we're going to do to you. Make an example out of these people so that nobody screws with us. But no, we're like just literally lying on our backs and saying, keep it going, keep it going, keep it coming, keep it going. That's it. I'm sorry, but that's really, I'm so serious. I'm sorry. But I have had enough, you know. And the internet, again, is nothing that can make you go wild than having the internet shut off. Right? Especially when you're wondering now that the fact that, as I said, normally Storm Fiber is very professional, but this past whole year, in fact, since this government has come, they have not been very professional. Okay. And you've literally, there are times when I've had to call them and ask them, okay, just spit it out. Tell me properly. This thing that is going on with my internet where I am live streaming a standard definition video and it's buffering. Is that because of the government? Is the army tampering with the bandwidth right now and the resolution and basically with my whole freaking internet? And then they would say, yeah, actually, let's be honest, it's them, it's not us. Okay, at least I know where I'm coming, where I'm getting, right? But now again, this that has happened since yesterday, 1:38 p.m., suddenly we're all offline. And when we keep on calling them, they're like, oh, yes, we can see that we can detect a disconnectivity. It seems to have been a physical fault at you. Do you see any broken wires? Do you, like, seriously? You know what it is. In fact, after calling you people 5-6 times, you finally find a senior technical member of the team who tells you, acknowledges that yes, actually there is a fault, multiple links are down, people have been working on it since 1:38 p.m. I have the time here with me, and the team is deployed, but because it's a Sunday, so I would not promise you that anything would be fixed by tonight even, but I can say that by tomorrow things are going to be fixed. Okay, since when was a Sunday considered an unimportant day in the digital world? The whole thing about the digital world and about the internet and about, anything online is, let's just put it this way, the whole thing about the cyber part of the world is the weekends are actually more crucial than the weekdays. Weekdays are very important, yes, for all those people who are working on the net and all, but that's working hours crucial, But weekends are crucial. For those of us who work online or whose whole caboodle is online, for us, there is no weekdays and weekends. That's the whole point of the digital world is it has sort of blurred the lines decades ago, especially this last decade, between working days and weekends. And when you say that you have 24/7 support, when your service provider tells you that you have 24/7 support, that means weekends included. And I have never had a weekend treated this way by these people in the past. Again, that is basically where I'm coming from. In the past, whenever it was a weekend and things broke down, and I used to get so tensed saying, oh, it's the weekend. Oh, great. Things had to just happen now on the weekend. Nothing's going to be done. Literally within minutes and sometimes maximum within hours, the thing would be fixed, it would be resolved, and your net is on again, and Bob's your uncle. And now suddenly they're telling me that because it's the weekend, and okay, again, you're telling me that the ADT is where, where all the links are connected to. So the team is deployed at the ADT, and they are, already fixing the issue. They're working on it. You're telling me that it's going to take them 24 hours to fix that shit? It's like, seriously? You're telling me that it's going to take them a whole day and the next day in the morning, working hours, to get it back on? This is at most an hour, 2 hour, 5 hours job. Like, what is it that is taking you up to 18 to 20 hours? Even if you say that no, because it's a Sunday and most probably they will get off earlier and then get back to work tomorrow in the morning. Okay. Even if you say that, and they kind of did suggest that, but even if you say that, again, I'm saying, what is the problem that cannot be resolved in a few hours? It has literally taken these people maximum 5 hours. That is the maximum I've ever had in a huge, and that is like a huge, massive scale breakdown that they've ever had. And they literally get everything going by midnight, max, And that has always been in a span of 4 to 5 hours max. And yet here I am. It's been more than 12 hours. Yeah, because it's been 15 hours at least. And it's not back online. And you're telling me that it could take till tomorrow because, again, how long does it take to fix the physical damage? It doesn't take so long that you have to work through the night. You could have done it within 4 to 5 hours. You could have done it within 2 hours. You could have done. So again, the problem here is it the government? Because as my mom was immediately, she's like, do you think it's the government that just did that? And I'm like, they would tell you. But then it just in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, no, they wouldn't tell you until you actually ask them directly. So now I'll have to ask them that, was it really a physical damage, or was it the government that just shat on the pole? I'm getting pretty sick and tired. As I said, this is why I hate living in this country. But unfortunately, where before I had the good chance to get peace and some semblance of system elsewhere, now I am in the worst form of frustration because now the whole world is degrading itself to our level. Now the whole world is literally coming down to our level. So where am I supposed to go from here? The only place now I can go from here is my grave. I am sick of it all. I'm sick of the fact that we know what these people are doing. We know that they're deliberately creating water shortage. They are deliberately creating food shortage in many countries. They will soon begin in our own agriculture country. After all, the army has been fighting tooth and nail to take over the whole agriculture of Pakistan. Why? Why? It's so obvious. The war that America wants to just go full blown out, that America's working so hard for this war to completely blow up and to force all the countries to literally fight. That is a war that all these countries' governments are preparing for. That is why England is a mess. That is why Europe is a mess. That's why America and Canada are a mess. Australia is a bit of a mess too, let's face it. Despite the fact that Australia thought that we're so far away from everybody, we'll try to get ourselves out of this. Canada thought that too. But the problem with Canada and Australia is you are directly under England. You're still under the king. You need to get yourself away from it. You need to, you know, get 100% independent. As long as you're under the king, you are obliged to take part in this war. Sorry, there's no other way. Just like how we are stuck. Because the people above us, our servants that have been put above us, are working. The traitors, they're working for America and England to ensure that Pakistan gets involved in this war. And so they're trying to take over our water, they're taking over gas. We have 200 years worth of gas supply. I'm not going to listen to jack shit about you saying we have gas shortage. You've been manipulating gas for a very long time, but people were quiet because at least you didn't raise the rates. And you did not manipulate the gas to this extent. But with Balochistan, you played dirty. Balochistan produced the gas, you exploited that gas, you gave it to every part of Pakistan except Balochistan. Why? This is something that any child would ask you. The first question a child would say, excuse me, Balochistan produces gas, but Balochistan doesn't have gas? What does that even mean? And then you're saying that, oh, we have insurgents in Balochistan? You serious? In Karachi, the People's Party's government is a water mafia. Literally, a water mafia. They're controlling the water in Karachi. In Punjab, we never had water problems, but we saw it coming recently. And here we are. Now Punjab's government is also thinking of, creating a water issue. Seriously? A country that is rich in water resources, a country that is rich in mineral resources, that is rich in gas resources, in petroleum, in coal, in precious and semi-precious stones, in gold even. You've literally put us to this point, to this brink. I mean, it wasn't enough that you've been wreaking havoc with our electricity. Yeah, in case I didn't complete that sentence, they decided, oh, let's try to frack the people even more. People are thinking that they'll get solar and they'll somehow save themselves from us. But at night, it's going to be grid tied. During the day, they spike the voltages, which disrupts the import of electricity, the production and import of the electricity of the solar panels. And that, that literally tampers with the actual production and import. And then suddenly you get low voltage during peak hours at night when you're on grid. And you're lucky if nothing gets blown. You literally end up with bulbs shortening, seriously. Yeah, even the hood, the tiny bulbs in the hood, they're suddenly burst in the middle of the night when the hood is off. Everything is off. And in the middle of the night, suddenly you will hear this clang, bang, and burst. And then you go down and you find out that, the tiny bulb suddenly decided to burst with such pressure that its cover falls on, it literally falls off onto the stove. And everything's off. Everything's off. But something done at the back end by the LESCO people causes a disruption, a spike, a surge, anything, that even appliances that are off will react to it because they're still plugged in. And notice that it doesn't matter if you have even turned the switch off. If your appliance is plugged in, something will still happen. If nothing else, the plug itself will suddenly burn in the shortening that occurs within the switch. Do you know how dangerous it is? And this is a frequent occurrence. This is your Lesco. This is your, you know, energy production in Pakistan. This is the level that literally the reason I hate this country is all this, that I literally sometimes even feel like the fan is suddenly going to dislodge and fall on me. Can you imagine that? Imagine, I have never, ever, ever felt that in any other country. But in Pakistan, I literally am always constantly, every now and then, I get this sudden tension. Oh, is something going to happen to the light? Oh, is something going to happen to the fan? Oh, is something going to happen to this? When you hear sudden sounds, you know, and you're wondering, oh, did something just happen in the electricity circuit that you don't know, and you'll find out when you suddenly want to have to use that thing, you know? That wasn't enough. No, no, that wasn't enough. They decided to just screw with us on the internet, and then screw with us with water, and then screw with us with. Literally, these people need to be killed. I don't know how many times I have to say this for it to enter into your brains. We need to kill them, and we need to kill them in the most brutal, most sadistic, most painful method possible. Every single one of them. The judges, the lawyers, the army personnel, including the cadets and the soldiers who are listening to their orders and following orders, the policemen, the police officers, their superiors, everybody who's working. I don't give a shit what excuse you have. The government, the bureaucrats, the real shit behind all shit, you know, the politicians, the ministers, every single one of them, we need to literally enter into their homes and kill them right then and right there. And this is me signing off because now it's time for Fajr. Yes, it is literally now 4:18 a.m. and the internet is still not back. When it's back, that's when I'm going to upload this podcast with all my curses and all my badwas towards every single person that has made this happen, that has made Pakistan what it is today. This is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz.